Down to the main event. Today, we will be talking about episode two, episode two of the one and only Last of Us HBO show. So, King, first off, you know, we're not going to go too much into
Nah.
the episode. I feel like with these, we'll go into a little bit, but at the end of the day, I recommend. First off, let's go me and you. Do you recommend this show off 2 episodes so far?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, I do too. It's a phenomenal show. You know, considering some of you know, I'm sure most of you know us coming from the Iron Lords podcast. We primarily talk about games. That's why sometimes when I'm talking about a movie, sometimes I'll say game by accident because I'm so used to talking about games. But the accuracy in this show on the game just shows everyone else you can do this. You don't have to do anything different. What the original script is good enough to satisfy everyone. So, what is some of your highlights with it? Because we are going to have a spoiler thing, but I do want to talk about your general expectations with this episode and the highlights that you did have with it without spoiling anything.
Okay, well, as soon as the episode started, I saw that Neil Druckmann directed this one. And I said, okay, I want to see exactly how he's going to add more sauce to already a good mix, more layers to a deeper onion. I wanted to see deeper into the mind of the great Neil Druckmann. And he didn't disappoint
At all.
at all. Um, this is
You
not
know,
a
so
spoiler.
I saw a TikTok video of
Yeah,
him on the scene with the actual director, the person who
yeah,
directs the majority of the episodes, and Neil showing him where the clickers need to come out.
yeah. It's his level of care for his product, his baby. It shows. The clickers. See, we saw Infected. This is the first time we heard that.
Yeah, I looked up a picture, the best picture I could. I don't. It said this
Boy,
came from the TV show, but man, we got to be honest, man. They did a good job with how the clickers look, how they interact.
perfectly.
One thing I will bring up, is I do feel like the human interaction needs more so far. Like, and we got to get to the point too where a lot of the human interactions in the game was solely just for gameplay. They had
Yeah,
no purpose whatsoever in the actual shooting or anything like that. But it does make me think that are is HBO and Sony, because we know that when you look at the gaming portion, Sony has came back a little bit on like killing humans.
right,
Now, it's interesting that every time they come across humans that are dead, they died off screen.
right.
So I don't know if that's how the story is written. I don't know if they don't want to go like showing humans getting killed on screen, but to me, it's like I do want a balance of infected and human interaction because that's what The Last of Us was about.
I think as the series go on and as Ellie and Joel start to get a deeper understanding of each other, I think that we'll see that when they start to talk to other humans. Um, but at the moment, it's still world building, it's still world crafting. Because remember, they're explaining how they had to bomb the place when they went to
They did very
Indonesia.
good world building with that.
Yeah, and they spoke to the Indonesian botanist, and she explained that this is no hope. You know, take me home to my family. I want to go to my family and just blow this up. Um, I was like, wow, because she started to cry. And
Oh,
she looks over at the officer, and she's like, "This is very serious right here, and you're gonna have to blow this place up." But there's nothing you can do.
yeah. Someone then said Sarah literally got shot by a person, but there wasn't a lot of blood in that scene. It was dark. You couldn't really see exactly what happened. You just knew that she got shot. But when these infected are going at people, or when you're getting shot by these fully automatic weapons, like in the way that The Last of Us portrays it in the actual show, there would be a lot of gore. So
But
I'm curious that they're not doing a lot of the human on human interaction because they want to limit some of the gore that
well,
could
you get a
happen in the
different
show.
rating. You get a different rating. You'll get a rated R rating.
What is this thing rated?
I think it's rated PG-13 or TVMA or something, but not rated R. I don't believe.
Is the TMA like worse though? It's like nudity in TMA, didn't it?
I don't. Well, they had nudity there with the lady on the table.
Yeah, that kind of actually surprised me. They
Yeah, I
just
was
put
like,
her
yeah,
stuff all up in there.
yeah.
They could
she was
have easily
outside.
have avoided that if they wanted to.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't.
They're like,
She was
just
buck naked.
let her be spread eagle, just sitting right there.
There it is. We outside. That scene that started off. I told my wife. I said, "Okay, throw them in the bushes." We outside. But this episode showed me, because there was a couple of things that Neil did that was different, and I had to run and go play the video game to see if this happened, because I forgot. And he added certain things to it. I really thought the Ellie character, you got a chance to see her age. You got a chance to see a little bit more into her personality, but you also understood that Joel is not a good person.
He's not.
He has done bad. And, this girl told him, do this for me. I don't ask you for a damn thing. Do this for me so you can set this right, so you can do this, so we can get some type of peace on this earth. If this fixes all the crap that we did, do this for me.
Yeah,
Hold
she's
on.
pretty much.
We got Tyler Crosby. What's up, Tyler? With the $5 super chat. This show is incredible. 2 episodes in, it might be the best show on right now, and the clickers look amazing. This is how you do a video game show right. Definitely, 100%. I agree with it. I agree with, you can add things to the mail. Like, the video game had to tell it in a certain way, and it had to add gameplay elements in it. So now you got to tell the same story, but without the gameplay elements. So you have to add extra things to it in order for you to be able to digest it in the manner that they want to give it to you. And I believe I see how they're doing it, and they're doing it in a masterclass way.
Really good.
2 episodes in, I feel that it's going to be probably, and I'm glad they did it this way instead of doing a movie. You understand? Because if they did a movie, we wouldn't get all this development, all this good, rich story. A movie wouldn't do it justice. I think this TV show does it justice, because you're able to digest it in an hour and a half shows, a 45-minute show, the hour show. So I think it works itself well in how it's being told.
All right, so I guess we'll go to the spoiler portion of the
podcast. All right, guys. So if you did not see this episode, and this is the part where we're going to spoil a couple of things. We're not going to spoil the whole episode, but this is the part where we're going to spoil some of the big plot points. And you might want to walk out the door. Don't say I didn't warn you.
I think what we should stay away from is the ending, the transaction that happened at the ending. We could talk about it, but don't say that transaction. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's like the only issue I have is the lack of humans. That's all. I feel like everything else they did on point. I'm starting to come a little bit more on Ellie, Bella. I think that's her name, playing
Yeah,
Ellie. I still don't like her. I don't like her visualization. I think that's a very key point to find someone that looks the part, and I don't think she looks the part.
me neither.
But I gotta say, Teresa, what's her name again?
Yeah, Teresa.
Teresa, spot on. Like,
No, she was perfect.
yeah, I was going on. I was looking at like that ending scene
Yeah,
from side by side. It was almost word for word, and
yeah.
it's good, man. And it's just like something like you see like this, how well the pacing is, how they don't spend too long on
I
one
got a question
subject.
for you.
Hmm.
Did the kiss happen in the game?
No, I don't think it did.
It didn't.
Yeah, so little things
Why do
like
you
that.
think that happened?
I feel like they wanted. I feel like in the game, they kind of worded them more of like, we're not a couple, we don't really have feelings with each other, like we're just in this together. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But in the show, it seems like they try to put more emotion behind them too. Because if you notice
No,
that
I'm
there
not
was a
talking about the kiss between her and Joe.
who are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kiss that happened right before the joint ends. The climactic ending. The climax to it.
That's what I'm
Because
talking about.
okay, she okay, so you're talking about all right, this
Just
I
say
don't
it.
really want you said just say it.
Just say it.
Uh, when the infected kissed her in the mouth.
Oh no, that didn't happen. That definitely didn't happen.
Right. So I was taken aback by this whole situation here. I didn't know
I don't. I didn't
why
see
he
that as
put
a
that.
kiss though. I think that's the reason I'm confused when people bring that up. I
Right.
saw that as that infection trying to infect her.
But she was infected already.
But then why would they even go after her at that point then?
Yeah,
You
this is
know
what
what?
I'm saying because they were running past her. They weren't paying her any mind, right? But Neil decided that this scene was necessary in this manner to convey something because she was still fighting the control of the parasite. Because remember,
Mm-hmm.
once it starts taking over your neurological system, it starts to command you to do whatever it wants, just like the ants. But she was still fighting because she was trying to achieve her goal. I think, and this is just my hypothesis of the situation, is that it knew what she was trying to do because remember they're linked mentally and she still had a semblance of her human self and she was trying to destroy their chances of stopping Joe, and it was if it infected her in that manner it would take faster.
I feel you, but I feel like it probably would have been simpler just to injure her than it would be to stop
Right.
her. I don't know. Part of me feels like that is weird. I saw it as I'm infecting you, like
Right.
because
I
to
want to
me,
have Neil on so bad on ILP to ask him that question because he directly directed this episode.
hmm
So he had direct input in putting this scene here, which wasn't in the game, which was an added layer. But I want to know what was he trying to get across to the to his audience at this for this specific scene. Everything else was fine. I just questioned this one scene.
yeah. And another thing too, it was they did change up the story just a tad bit. Like nothing that
Mhm.
would change the overall aspect of the story. If I remember
Right,
correctly, it's been years since I played Last of Us. But the reason that she stayed behind was because of human soldiers in the original game,
right,
and here it was because the infected. All the fungus are connected. That's not in the game for all
right.
for what I remember.
No,
So it's interesting. Like I said, they're taking the human aspect out. Like
well, we have to wait until we see
I
the
know.
encampments and the settlements. uh across the land, that while they're trying to make their way to the Fireflies, because you remember the Fireflies was killed, and the thought that Joel had was that they turned on each other because of an infected, one
Hmm.
got infected. Is it possible? Maybe not. Maybe so. We just have to see as it plays itself out. But I think we're going to, when they start reaching the smaller encampments of humans across the land, that we're going to get those interactions, and we're going to get those human on human violence, because in a dystopian world where it's left to the only the strongest survive, humans are going to be humans. They're going to turn into their base nature, and they're going to be the enemy, the threat. And the overarching threat is the virus, of course, but still, in The Last of Us, we all know the human element is the most dangerous element, because it's more calculating than any fungus
Yeah,
that we can encounter.
it's like it is when you look at it like The Walking Dead. You know, the infection was the original thing. The zombies were the original issue, but
Right.
sooner or later, as humans, we're gonna solve that issue to some degree. Maybe we'll barricade it. Maybe we'll establish a society with walls, and then at that point, the issue's always gonna come back on us again, because every time we solve an issue in real life, we always end up bickering at each other because either we're bored or there's envy, or like all the emotions come into play at that point. A
Well,
zombies
let
infected,
me
there's
let
no
me
emotion.
tell you, Shine Films. Um, I don't watch. I'm not a huge person in watching podcasts, and let me explain why. If I did that, then I probably would take on. Bless you. I
Thank
would
you.
probably take on their thoughts. So I try to avoid it as
That's
much as
why I try to
possible.
avoid reviews when I'm reviewing a game.
Exactly. So it's another reason why I don't like people to chew my food. When it comes to video games, that's my analogy for that. And I like to delve deep into the subject matter. I can watch an episode 3 4 times to come to some type of thesis, and bring it across in a manner that is original from my words, right? And also, I really want to have the conversation with Neil Druckmann about it with my words. So if it seems like I'm ignorant to the podcast, it's
It's
because I
because
am
we are.
ignorant to the
We didn't
podcast.
watch
I did not
it.
watch it.
So those of you that are looking at the chat, if you're looking at the pre, I just threw links. We did start an R&R YouTube channel, and the reason that I'm putting this out there, because I know some of you don't like watching. Like, I'm probably not going to do timestamps on this, and the reason I'm not going to do timestamps is because we're going to upload the individual segments that make sense onto that channel. So, The Last of Us Part 2 is going to go on there. We're probably going to put, there's a Megan one already on
Thank you,
there.
Sean.
We're putting the spoiler cast on that channel. And then sooner or later, I do want to evolve that into more, but right now, that's all it is. And that's what I'm putting on there. But, let's get into it, King. Let's get into it. Go over there and sub to that channel, chat. There's 63 people. I want 63 subs by the end of the show.
For
All
sure,
right.
for sure.
All right. So, what would you give this episode, man? Popcorns, man. I need some
Four,
popcorns from you. Four?
four. It's a four popcorn, because I got a chance to see Neil's style in directing. Um, and that's all I wanted. I believe he's a dope game designer. I believe he's a fantastic story writer. I just wanted to see him direct the live film, and he did so, and he masterclass. I think all the shots was done well. Like when they was outside the wall, when they went inside, and Ellie was so happy to go inside a posh hotel, and she she's a kid, man, and that came across. She's a kid, and she's happy to be outside. You can see the wonderment in her eyes, and they
She did it in
captured
the
that.
first episode. Remember when she got
Yeah,
out? She stood up, knowing that there was mad danger going on. She's
yeah,
like, "Oh my god, I'm outside!" So I do like I'm the actual casting starting to it's especially with Ellie. It's getting you a bit used to it, but she's growing on me. She's growing on me. You're gonna be surprised, King. You're gonna be surprised. I'm gonna give this a five popcorn.
Well, okay.
I feel like
Listen,
the reason I want to give it a five popcorn
why?
is because they did the clickers so well.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's just I feel like Last of Us, the clickers is what makes the entire lore of Last of Us act like unique. There's not really anything like the clickers in all of gaming and TV and movies and everything. It's they did a good job explaining the clickers without explaining. They
yeah,
did a good job, like, because when he went up there and they were on the side and Ellie was like panicking and Joe was like like he
yeah,
told her silently they can't hear, they can't see, but they can hear.
yeah.
And it was so well. Like, look, do I got issues with the lack of humans? Yeah, but at the end of the day, there's still plenty of time to show us human atmosphere. It's a good show. I don't agree with Tyler that it's like the best show on right now. I think there's still shows that I would have to. I think the Chucky TV show just ended, so it's definitely probably up there. It's probably up there. But
You said the Chucky TV show?
yeah, it just ended. So.
After I finished Sick, it flipped right into the Chucky episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there like, what the hell is going on? I thought it was a end credit scene, but it was a Chucky doll. So I had to, just sidebar. So okay, so you give it 5, I give it 4, because I think that there's going to be an episode that's going to blow me away, and I believe that the clickers, they showed how dangerous that they were, but Ellie did ask, is it ones that shoot out spores that explode on you, that shoot out spores? Because I heard about that.
So they are
And,
going to have the bloaters in here in some way,
right, they're
shape,
gonna
or
have to
form.
bloat it
That's
there,
good.
and
I
that's gonna
just
be a
the
dope
reason
episode.
I'm personally giving this a perfect score and is because they did such a good job on them clickers, man. And I was worried about it because I was worried they weren't going to get they would get the appearance right, but not the noise or the
Right, now they got
sound,
the
or they would get
noise
the
and the
sound
appearance. They
right,
got
but not the
everything right.
appearance. But they hit them both. They made them terrifying. Like the whole
Yeah,
time me and Grace were watching, she's like, "Oh my god!" Like it was so well done. They did that. Now, obviously, in the game, the clickers grab you, it's a wrap.
yeah.
That's a game. They do that for gameplay mechanics. That's not really probably how that would work out.
Well, I know I saw people clowning on it, like they grabbed them a couple of times. It's like in the game, it would have been game
I saw
over.
BG post, man, they must be playing on easy mode because he grabbed them like 4 times.
Yeah, but
It was
no,
funny, man. It was
it
funny.
was well done. I thought that the aesthetics is, like I said, the atmosphere is incredible.
Apparently,
The
Gene
set is
said this
dope.
next episode, episode 3, is the best episode of all of them.
See, that's why I can't give it a 5 yet till I get to that episode that makes
Well,
me call you on the
I, I
phone.
I guess the reason I usually rate stuff differently. I rate on what that episode was achieving. That episode was
Right.
about the clickers. So they did the clickers right. They did the sound appearance right. They did the build up to it right. I can't realistically find anything wrong with that episode besides maybe lack of human interaction and human atmosphere. So there's nothing I can give it a 4 because of. You know what I'm
I feel
saying?
you. I feel you. I just hold that popcorn very high. So if I'm gonna give you a 5, baby, you're gonna have to knock my socks off. So I mean, it was if I probably didn't have that question with the kiss, it would have probably been a 5.
So
I still have that question with the kiss, so that's about it. But other
so
than that, it's just dope.
chat
Dopeness.
1 through 5, man. Give us your popcorns. 1 through 5.
Yeah, let's see, chat. Talk to me.
I'm curious to your guys' opinion.
My wife texted me because she watching. She's like, "Tell him it had me hiding on top of you." Like I'm watching, and she's on my side, and she's tucked under my arm watching. And when the clickers came out, because I know they're coming out, she has no idea.
Well, see, Grace played enough where she knew what the clickers were, but
Yeah.
she didn't know how vicious they could be. You know what I'm saying?
My wife never played this. So she's watching this with brand new eyes. And she was like, what the actual, and it's dope. It's just dope.
Yeah, they did a good job, man. They did a good job. I agree with
Thank
King.
you,
It's a
Don.
4. Of course, you guys would agree with each other.
Nah, a lot of dudes agree with you, man. A lot of dudes agree with you.
5, 5, 5. We good, man. We good. The chat agrees with Addict.
Yeah,
It's a wrap.
Attic won this round. I mean, but we all win. We all win, man.
All right, so that's enough about The Last of Us, man.